Now that 2026 is underway, unfortunately, and the top 10 video of 2025 is done, it's time for my semi-regular-ish collection update tour video thing. So, I'm going to go over the shelves, show you where everything's at right now. Something to keep in mind, it's a little bit, like, it's not gone or anything like that, but it's a little bit less robust than it has been in previous years because I've been kind of culling back a little bit more for reasons I feel like I mentioned before, but I won't get into it right now. But yeah, it's not going to be as full of toys as it was, but there's still plenty. And we're going to take a look at everything that I've currently got, because my Big Bad Toy Store pile of loot just showed up today, so everything's as up-to-date as it's going to be until more pre-orders start coming in. So, right up front, we've got the kind of combiner slash miscellaneous cabinet. And up top is where I've got all of my combined combiners, with Mastermind Creations Feral Rex right in the middle there because he's still just absolutely glorious. And next to him we've got Mecha Invasion's Giant Legion, which is still also a wonderful rendition of Devastator. Across from that, we've got Unite Warriors Devastator with the DNA upgrade kits. This is not the one that I made a video on all those years ago. This is a completely different one because I sold my original way back when and regretted it ever since, and managed to get a hold of this guy a little while after Studio Series 86 Devastator started like the Constructicons started coming out, because people were selling theirs off en masse for pretty cheap. So got him, got the upgrade, still have to get the repro labels, but yeah, there is Unite Warriors Devastator, and then of course Legacy Menasor with the DNA upgrades and repro labels. And I still have an immense fondness for Legacy Menasor. Studio Series 86 Devastator, I can't get rid of this guy. I've thought about it a few times, and I cannot bring myself to do it, even though I find him immensely disappointing compared to the Unite Warriors version. And I don't really understand why. Meaning I don't understand why I can't get rid of him, not that I don't understand why I don't feel that way. I said as much in my top 10 video, which I think is why that video got a surprising number of dislikes. Maybe it's not all the Studio Series 86 Devastator fans, but I don't know. He looks really cool, and the engineering's interesting and neat, and the articulation's good, but like, the set just doesn't, it doesn't ignite any passion inside me like the Unite Warriors version did. So, I don't know. But yeah, he looks really good. I'll give him that. Anyway, we're not talking about him. We're just going over the collection. So next to that is the oversized knockoff of Make Toys Guardia. This is the Yes model version. And, oh, he looks so cool. And my goodness, is he kind of jank, because KO. But he is cool. Everything except for Katana. I do not like this figure in particular at all. This figure sucks. This version, at least. Like, the original Make Toys version wasn't all that great either, but, like, the KO is really bad. But he lives in ARM mode, so it's okay. He doesn't make a great ARM either because of joint issues, but he's better as an ARM than as anything else. But yeah, Yes model Guardia. And then down here, I actually planned in advance this time. I have a flashlight. So, inside the cabinet below that, we've got Beast Wars Tripredicus. Still have him, still love him. A Blockies Bone Crusher, because I don't have that many Blockies figures, but I like Bone Crusher. I don't know. Don't ask me to explain why. I have a fondness for Bone Crusher for some reason. Also, I'm wondering. Ooh. It's got a black light function, so yeah, that's how everyone glows under blacklight. Anyway, Mastermind Creation, specifically Ocular Max, Probus Regenesis. I think their brawl was called Probus. Yeah, still have him in the G2 colors because he's a really cool figure, and I really like this color scheme. And even though the combiner is cool, I just like the standalone figure. And then also, Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Ignis, their hotspot. And I know the toy version exists, and they finally have proper stock photos of the thing where the robot mode chest is transformed properly. I don't know why it took them so long to do that, but anyway, yeah, after seeing the toy version, it's like, usually I'm a sucker for toy decos of figures, but I still kind of really like this one. I don't know. I think I just like the two-tone blues that they used for a lot of his design. Anyway, moving down here, things are changed up a bit. Now, this is where the Grimlock shelf is. Well, Grimlock and Volcanicus. This is the Grimlock shelf, and there are a few Grimlocks missing. I've decided I don't really care anymore about having all of the Studio Series 86 Grimlock molds. So... Oh, God, squatting on 44-year-old knees. Okay. So we've got the blue G2 Grimlock. Yellow G2 Grimlock is currently on the chopping block, so that's why only the blue one's back there. Earth Spark Deluxe Grimlock, which I have said before, and I will continue to say, that mold is actually very good, and the Earth Spark version is really cool looking. Legacy Volcanicus with repro labels, and yeah, he's a little silly looking, but he's still a really cool set, and the individual Dinobots are fun, even if some of them look a little bit sad. And 86 Grimlock with repro labels and a little bit of custom paintwork, like the black bands on the arms and stuff like that. Blocky's Grimlock. This is the shining version that has the light up eyes and chest, and he's just fun. I really like the Blocky stuff. Alternator's Grimlock, which I have said before, I don't really like. Everyone hates this mold. I still think it's cool, and Grimlock as a Mustang is a fun departure from the norm. And then Tiny Turbo Changers Cyberverse Grimlock, which is, I've said before, kind of my favorite Grimlock toy, even though he's really small and simple. It's just so fun. And Shattered Glass Grimlock with repro labels, because I really like this color scheme and the skull-like mask that he's got going on now thanks to the repro labels, and it's just cool. And then below that is the miscellaneous shelf, which is now small enough for me to fit both Autobots and Decepticons, or, I mean, I guess in some instances they're not technically Autobots, like Depth Charge there, even though he's a robot like that turns into a plane rather than a manta ray this time around. I would consider him, it's good guys and bad guys, basically. So we've got 86 Sludge, who, for whatever reason, I have immense fondness for. I don't know. I sold all my other 86 Dinobots except for Grimlock, and Sludge, there's just something about 86 Sludge that I really like and have not been able to get rid of. And then we've got Legacy Vector Prime with repro labels, and he's like the most handsome robot in my collection, I think, with the repro labels. He looks so nice. And Power of the Prime Slash, who continues to be just a fantastic little figure. The Hot Wheels Collaborative Bone Shaker, which I want to make a video on eventually. I wrote a script and then just never recorded the video, and I'm probably not going to use the script when I make a video on this guy because I'm not doing that right now, but he's neat for what he is. A Masterpiece G2 Sideswipe with repro labels, also just fantastic. TFCC Depth Charge, fantastic figure, wonderful color scheme. Legacy Velocitron Cosmos with repro labels, also a great figure. Really hate how difficult it was for people to find, but I'm glad it's at least not as much of a nightmare now. Transformers Adventure Atoms, which is basically Combiner Wars or Thrilling 30 Cosmos, but the Japanese version. Whatever. Cool figure, though. Age of the Primes Air Raid, who I made a video on recently, and again, I really like him because of my fondness for Air Raid as a figure that was big in my childhood. I'm sitting now because it was just getting to be too painful to squat. Back there we've got technically first edition Prime Bulkhead, but this is actually a knockoff, and it's not the APC version. I forget what version it is, but yeah, it's a knockoff first edition Bulkhead because it's just easier to get now with repro labels, and just a fantastic figure. It's an all-timer. I think we all know this. Similarly, an APC cartoon colors, I guess, RC which is a knockoff and very slight remold of first edition RC. Again, fantastic figure. Not entirely show accurate, but fantastic. The Jack figure standee there actually came with a different APC figure, which we're going to see later. But, I mean, I had to put him with RC, you know? Then we've got Animated RC. That is my custom that I worked on a few times over the years, and yeah, I'm still really proud of how that turned out. And it's not as messy as some of my other customs, mostly. So yeah, I still really like that figure. Missing Link Bumblebee. He is really neat. Not as magical as I was hoping he would be, because I have that special affinity for G1 Bumblebee, because this right here is the very first Transformers toy I ever got as a kid when I was like 2, and I kept him for over 40 years, and he's still in my collection, and he is the most important Transformer in the entire collection for me. So I figured, you know, Missing Link would be like, yeah, and it is cool, but it just, you know, it doesn't compare to that original, because the original is very emotionally significant, so nothing is going to compare. Anyway, Retro Gears. I've tried to sell this guy a few times, and I just can't bring myself to do it because he's so good. I don't have any connection to Gears or the toy, but like, he just looks so good, and it's such a good figure. So we're hanging on to him still. Legacy Quake, who made a video on him fairly recently, and yeah, Legacy Quake is just shockingly wonderful, and I love him, and I still need to get repro labels for him, but just a complete shock at how much I love him despite his tank mode being his tank mode. And we've got the TMNT Collaborative Party Wallop, but with the non-F upgrades that change the hands and head into Metalhead. Well, change the head into Metalhead and give him proper, like, 3-fingered hands rather than the 5-fingered hands that he comes with by default, which is really weird. And with the Toy Hacks Ripper Label set that really turns him into Metalhead. And yeah, I said in the video for this guy, I love it because Metalhead was such a big deal for me as a kid, and having a transforming toy of that, even if it's not technically an official rendition of the toy, is just wonderful. And then we've got Shattered Glass Hot Rod, or Rodimus, from, I think it was Legacy. He came in the 2-pack with Sideswipe, with Shattered Glass Sideswipe, and I still really like this figure. And I know it gets flack. That's fine, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, even if it seems overly picky, but I still really like this figure, and the Shattered Glass colors are even better, and I got Reaper labels on him now, so it looks even cooler, and he's great. And then the black rendition of Rodimus Minor from Transformers Animated. I forget the exact name of this figure, but it's still a fantastic... this version of the figure, rather. But it's still a fantastic mold, and I really like it in these colors, and yeah, he's very cool. And QT Starscream being a little cutie. Love him. Mwah, kisses. And behind that, Fans Hobbies Frightstorm with Repro labels, because I said this a few times that I absolutely love Frightstorm, and he is quite possibly my favorite third-party figure I own. That may still be true. I haven't spent a lot of time ruminating on it lately, but man, I love Fans Hobby Frightstorm so much. And then Action Toys Steam Robo, which I do still have after all these years, even though I don't have his box or his weirdly over-involved display stand and all that stuff. I don't have any other Action Toys Machine Robo figures, but I just really love Steam Robo. I guess because I owned Loco as a kid and really liked Loco. I still need to get a regular original GoBots Loco one day. It's not that he's hard to find or really expensive, I just never take the time to do it.
We interrupt this collection tour to bring you a Sleepy Finley. Hello, Sleepy Finley. Are you annoyed? Am I annoying you? Am I making a bunch of noise and getting all in your face while you're trying to sleep? Doesn't it just suck when that happens?
For anyone curious, I'm intentionally giving him a hard time because he does that stuff to us every single night. Anyway, Earthrise Scorponok with some DNA upgrades. I think it was just the kit that gives him the shield buff and the larger gun, like shoulder guns. I think that was it. I didn't bother with the one that extends the legs, or and the scorpion legs, the better scorpion legs with more articulation. So yeah, the minimal upgrades on this guy, but still really cool. And now, the Nemesis Prime bookcase, the entire bookcase is Nemesis Prime's now, because I had to shift some things around. And I've also reorganized it slightly. So at the very top, there is the movie Nemesis Prime. Well, Nemesis Prime / black repaint of Optimus Prime. Well, they're not all Nemesis Primes, but hear me out. So here we've got all this. This is the Studio Series Age of Extinction Optimus Prime. The reason it's the Optimus Prime is because I do not like what they did to the Nemesis Prime. They gave him darker gray plastic and lighter blue plastic for some reason. And also they gave him the face sculpt without the face mask, and I really hate that. So basically I opted to get the regular Optimus Prime, and then I'm going to give him like a black wash to darken things up and make him look more Nemesis-y, and then give him the eye stripe on the masked head. And that'll be my Age of Extinction Nemesis from Studio Series when I'm done. Now behind him we've got Takara's legendary Nemesis Prime based on the Evasion Prime mold. And then Movie the Best Nemesis Prime, which is still shockingly good. And this, I forget the exact designation, but this is an oversized KO of Unique Toys Challenger in Nemesis colors, specifically the black and teal version. And also really cool. A knockoff of Studio Series Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime in Nemesis colors. This is not the official, and I still think it's weird that they released an official Nemesis colors figure for this like a year or two after the KO had existed for a while. But whatever. Back here is MPM-12N, the Rise of the Beasts or Bumblebee movie, I forget which, Optimus Prime in Nemesis colors now, so Nemesis Prime, but this guy also has the DNA upgrades, so the forearms are a little different, the legs are a little bit longer, and the truck looks both better and worse. Yeah, but got him. There we have the, what was this? Mainline Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime, which is a fantastic figure, and it is customized. This is a Decepticon custom. I've looked at his stuff before. It is wonderful. And yeah, this is like just amazing. The paint looks great and is held up really, really well. But yeah, it's Nemesis colors, and it's just a fantastic mold and a fantastic color scheme. And I'm sorry the camera keeps drifting. I'm just holding this like way up. So there is that. That's a very cool figure. And back there is the, again, forget the designation of this, but this is a slightly oversized KO of Rise of the Beasts Prime in Nemesis colors. It is not the official, which again, they released the official one again after the fact, but this is not the official, but still a cool figure. And then Steelhead Commander, was it Jack Mao, I think was the name of the company. The Steelhead Commander in black, the Nemesis Prime, wonderful figure, weird transformation, but wonderful. Okay, now I can give my arm a slight rest as we move down to the next shelf. And this shelf is the Power Master shelf, or what I would consider the Power Master shelf. So we've got Nucleon Quest Super Convoy right there. Over here is Power of the Primes Nemesis Prime, which is not technically a Power Master, but the way this works, it is absolutely a Power Master. So I'm counting it, even though it's not really a Power Master, but like the trailer turns into the big robot body, the cab turns into the core robot and then turns into the body, and it even does the thing where like the truck cab windows end up on the back in the core robot mode. So yeah, this is totally a Power Master. And he's got Reaper labels. The next to that is the Make Toys Thunder Erebus. That's what it was. Thunder Erebus. They're Nemesis colors. Power Master Prime. And he also has, I should bring out the flashlight again, because, yeah, he also has the trailer armor. This is not the God Bomber armor, this is the trailer armor, which was a thing that was released separately in very limited quantities, and I thought I missed out on entirely. I managed to luck out and grab one like a couple years ago, so there he is all armored up. And then the newest addition to the Nemesis shelf, well, technically him too, because I reacquired him after selling him off a while ago, but the newest one, MPG, it's like 15, 16, something like that. Nucleon Quest Super Convoy. Just got this guy, and I never got Power Master Prime, MPG Power Master Prime. This is my first experience with this mold, and I love it. It's really good. Posability is great. Engineering is clever, but not overly complicated. The only thing I don't like is getting the arms untucked from the cab section for the core robot mode, but this is a super cool figure, and it does the base mode too. And below that, arms getting tired already. Below that is the kind of more classic G1 style Optimus or Nemesis Primes. And by classic, I mean more traditional, like truck cab chest window, no super mode. So there's Aldi Nemesis Prime with his Starscream shoulder pads and cape. Alt Mode's Nemesis Prime, just because. Legacy Core Nemesis Prime. See, this was... I don't know the official name of this, but this is the Takara version of the Siege mold. It's not the Netflix one. This is the Takara one, which uses a darker, like an actual black rather than a really dark gray, with repro labels. The Culture Fly Melts Nemesis Prime, which is basically just like a signpost more than anything, but I still have it. Magic Square's second version, their 2.0 Optimus Prime, whatever that was, what was it called? Light of Freedom, I think. This is the 2.0 version in Nemesis colors. Why am I blanking on you? I shouldn't be blanking on you. But this is the other one, the one that's not Aldi or Blockies. Why am I blanking? I don't know why I'm blanking. Maybe it'll come to me later. But basically, this is the like snap together, not quite model. It's like a snap together figure where you get them and they come in like pieces, and you have to like plug the legs on and stick the torso on, like put panels on the shins and stuff like that. I made a video on him. Why am I not remembering the name? Anyway, there he is. He doesn't transform, but he poses extremely well. And behind that is the KO of Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime in Nemesis colors. I'm still not sure why we haven't gotten any official repaints of the Studio Series 86 Prime mold, because it's a wonderful mold. If, you know, as I said in the video for that figure, it's like it's yet another really good Optimus Prime mold. It's not exactly setting the world on fire, but still, it's cool to have him in Nemesis colors. And then QT Nemesis Prime, because of course, and Blockies Nemesis Prime. Now going a little lower than that, this is the more kind of stylized shelf with the Prime, Nemesis Prime, and not Nemesis Prime, but close enough figures that are not quite G1, but also not really a super mode. So there's Transformer Adventure, Nemesis Prime. I finally did the forearm mod, so the truck chunks swing back a little bit. Magic Square's Truck Boy in Nemesis colors. Still kind of an overwrought figure for what it is, but still think it's neat. Planet X's Charon, which is still a really cool Fall of Cybertron Prime rendition. And there's the APC figure that Jack came with. That was with RC. That is APC Toys, Nemesis colors, Optimus Prime. It's a KO of the first edition Optimus Prime figure in just this wonderful Nemesis color scheme. Love that. And then here is... Oh, what was this? It was like Transformers. It was like Transformers Animated Black Optimus Prime or something like that is what they called it. But it's the car version of Animated Prime, the original Voyager Animated Prime in Nemesis colors. And he is lovely. Bishojo Nemesis Prime doesn't do anything, but she looks really freaking cool and makes a really nice kind of centerpiece that stands out a little bit from the rest of the Nemesis Primes that I own. Behind that is Legendary Toys. I forget the name, but this is a KO of Make Toys Striker Noir because I just can't find a real Striker Noir for a reasonable price, but also a very cool figure. Then we have, and I'm blanking on you now, Toy World's Orionville? I think it was Toy World, yeah, Orionville. Their version of IDW Prime, I think, but in Nemesis colors. Also very cool, if a little fiddly. The 4-pack version that came out semi-recently of the official Legacy animated Prime, but Nemesis Prime, and I actually really like this. It's a cool figure on its own, and I thought Motormaster was really cool, but like I really, really like the way they did the color scheme on this. I'll talk about it more when I eventually make a video on him, but I love that they put the teal on like the fists and a few other places to really make it pop, and I like the gas mask kind of look that they gave the faceplate. It's cool. And we've got Takara LG something, I can't remember the name, Nemesis Prime. This is not the Collectors Club Scourge figure. This is Black Convoy Nemesis Prime. And it is very cool. It's a cool mold, a little weird in places, showing its age and a few others, but it looks cool and it has an interesting transformation. There is Generation Toys Nemesis Colors OpEx. I forget what this guy was officially called, but this is the Generation Toy version. It's not a KO. And still just a fantastic figure in its own right. But like I really like this guy. And Dark Side Optimus Prime, I think. He came in a 2-pack with Megatron. I don't have the Megatron anymore. This is a Nemesis Colors repaint of War for Cybertron Optimus Prime, that original deluxe that a lot of people hold in high regard for very good reason. Very cool figure, and I've got the official Nemesis release, which I just think is really neat. Okay, I had to sit down because I'm old, but now we're moving on to the shelf below that, where now we're getting into super modes that are not Jinrais or Power Masters. You know what I mean. So there is the Fans Hobby Obsidian Commander. That was it. Fans Hobby Obsidian Commander and Obsidian Blade. They're Energon Optimus Prime plus Windblade, put in Nemesis colors. Still a wonderful set, even with its weird limitations in some ways, but I love that combination. Transformers Adventure, I believe. Hunter Optimus Prime, but in black. I'm still not saying the actual name because it just doesn't sound cool to me, but that's basically what he is. This is the Beast Hunter's Optimus Prime figure with a faceplate, so it's a slightly new head sculpt and in black, and it is very cool. And over here, Fans Hobby Naval Commander. Was it Obsidian Commander? No, that one was Obsidian Commander, I think. But whatever this guy's name is, I'm blanking currently. But this is the Nemesis Colors version of Naval Commander, or Armada. Yeah, Armada Optimus Prime, I think. Yeah, it was Armada. And it's, again, very cool figure. And then behind all of that is I did the thing that I probably shouldn't have done, but I got the crossover gen, or Zavor gen, however you pronounce it, Trailer Force set, upgrade set for Nemesis Prime, or in Nemesis colors, because it was on sale on Big Bad Toy Store for like, I think, $40. And it's like, for that price, yeah. And it isn't great, but with a little TLC, it is perfectly manageable and can actually hold a pose and hold on to things. And I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. And I've got the Takara United Black Convoy, which is the Nemesis Colors version of Classics Prime, jammed in his chest there. So yeah, technically this qualifies as a Power Master, but I decided to put him more in like the super mode shelf because I don't know. I feel like makes a little bit more sense because of just how unintentional this is, because this is like a third-party kit turning a non-Power Master figure into a Power Master. And also stylistically, I think it fits better. And also, he's just really tall. Alright, we are almost done with the Nemesis Primes. Next shelf below all the super modes is the Scourge shelf, or versions of Scourge. So there is RID 2001 Scourge, the original RID Scourge. No weapons on this one, because this is one that I've reacquired after getting rid of the last two, I think. But yep, there's that. There's Takara Legends Scourge, their Scourge repaint of Titan's Return Optimus Prime. So he does the plane and the truck, and he looks really nice as a Scourge. Spy Changer Scourge, just because. And then here is the more recent Armada Nemesis Prime that was released with the Minicons, and I like this figure a lot. I wish they did more to the face. Well, again, I'll make a video on this guy eventually. But main thing for me is it kind of bums me out that, like, the Minicon set is cool. I like the Minicons a lot, but I wish they released them in Nemesis Prime Star Saber colors, like maybe like a red or even like a purple, I don't know. But this is so clearly just the regular Star Saber colors that you're supposed to put with Armada Optimus Prime, Legacy Armada Prime, and that kind of bums me out. I really wish that this was like different colors for the Minicons, but whatever. Still a very cool figure that regrettably does not have a trailer, so you can't, like, you can turn him into the torso. He does the torso mode. He has all the parts, but he doesn't have pants. So you can plug him into regular Optimus's pants, but they're the wrong color. And then we have Energon Nemesis Prime, who does not do the combination. This is just the standalone figure in Nemesis colors. And once again, reacquired him, and he is cool. And I think I made the mistake in the video I made for this guy back in the day of complaining, saying he doesn't have thigh swivels, and that bums me out. He actually does have swivels. I was wrong. He has, it's hard to see from this angle, but like he does have swivels. They're like these just above the knee swivels that do work. They're tight, but they do work. So he actually has all the articulation I could want. Now my only complaint about him is that his little arm sliders don't like to stay up, and I need to figure out how to fix that, but yeah, still a cool figure. And we've got Legacy Scourge, who I've mentioned in the video I made originally. I've used the kind of TFW headcanon to decide that this Scourge is from the same alternate universe as Fire Convoy, the Yellow Fire Convoy, the Lady Optimus Prime. So this is a Lady Scourge. And I think she's cool. Haven't gotten Reaper labels yet, been thinking about it, but this is a fun figure. And then, oh, what was your name? This is the Mastermind Creations Optus Nox, well, Optus Pexus figure, done in RID Scourge colors. I forget the name of this specific figure. It's not Optus Nox, that was the actual Nemesis Prime colors, but like this guy is glorious looking. I love the colors on him. I said as much in the video, but like, this is a fantastic figure in an absolutely wonderful color scheme. And he comes with way too many accessories. And then finally, the very last Nemesis shelf is reserved for beast modes. Not because I think they're lesser, just because that's how it kind of shook out. And here we've got Beast Wars second, I believe it's second and not Neo, but Beast Wars Black Lio Convoy. So the original toy, I do have it. He is wonderful. He's definitely got his drawbacks, but like the transformation is kind of really impressive in the torso, which I still think is really cool. And yeah, it's a very cool figure. Legacy Nemesis Leo Prime, I think, is what this guy was going by, and he has been Reaper labeled up. I also painted the Lion Mode eyes, so now they're like this blank red color, because I think that works much better. And I gave him the sword that comes with the Takara version of Siege Nemesis. Or maybe it came with Power of the Primes Nemesis. No, I think it was the Siege Nemesis. But basically, I think the sword looks cool, so I gave it to him. And I really like this figure. I know people were complaining about how bland the color scheme is for the Nemesis version, but like put some Reaper labels on him and looks great. And speaking of, here is the buzzworthy 4-pack Nemesis Primal with repro labels. And again, he looks great. Also a wonderful figure. Transformers Go Prime, who is probably not a Nemesis or a Black Optimus Prime, but his name is Prime and he is black, so I put him here. It probably doesn't count. I don't care. There's a lot of wiggle room on this entire bookcase anyway, so yeah, and that's still a fun figure. And Universe Nemesis Prime, the big convoy in black and beige, and also just a very, very cool figure. And I know people have their misgivings about the new Age of the Primes big convoy, but I still will 100% without hesitation get one in black if they ever make it. Okay, moving on from the Nemesis bookcase, here we've got HasLab Deathsaurus in his resplendent glory. And get some light on him. He is still just a wonderful piece. He could be a centerpiece all on his own, really. He just looks so good and is fun to mess with and has so many options. Love him. And then I've got a couple of KO minicons from a couple of orders back in the day, and then this kind of Kabea minicon figure that I got as like a bonus when I think I ordered the Transformers animated Black Optimus Prime, because the eBay sellers is cool. Below that, we're getting into Soundwave. Actually, the rest of this column here is Soundwave. So we've got Lego Soundwave, who I mentioned in the top 10 video is a fantastically fun build, and I need to make a video on him eventually. But he's cool. The transformation is actually surprisingly fun and interesting, and he's also gigantic. And he's also got Ravage and Laserbeak and a tiny version of himself. And below that are the more G1 inspired. I mean, this is a G1 Soundwave definitely, but these are more G1 stuff. These were not going to fit on the shelf with him. He's huge. But here we've got Robot Paradise Acoustic Wave with his toy bits on, and a CG sticker for the chest piece. Don't ask. But Acoustic Wave is great. Studio Series 86 Soundwave is the third figure that came with my pile of loot today. An 86 Soundwave, I'm going to make a video on him eventually, but basically this feels like what the Legacy and not necessarily the Siege figure, but this feels like what the Legacy version should have been. It's very much that same mold with new stuff. They did do more stuff to it. It's probably not even the same mold really, but it uses a lot of similar engineering bits. It's undeniably better, even in tape deck mode. But it's also not as big a departure as I was hoping it would be, but it's still a fantastic figure. And then he's got Buzzsaw in his chest, Laserbeak on his arm, and Hasbro being Hasbro, he does not peg in as well as you'd like. I don't know why they can never do that. And then down there is the Ravage that he comes with. And then we've got Blocky's Soundwave, because of course, and also the Robot Paradise, Laserbeak, and Ravage that go with Acoustic Wave there. And below that are the non-G1 Soundwaves that I have. The Movie the Best Dark of the Moon Soundwave. And I know people have their issues with the Human Alliance mold. I get it. But I still think it's really cool, and I think it looks incredible in silver. So I still really like this figure. And Earthspark Deluxe Soundwave, who is great. We all know this. Even with his baggy pants, he's great. Animated Soundwave, who is also great, and I love that Laserbeak turns into a guitar that he can hold as if he's playing it. That's so good. And Reactivate Soundwave with repro labels, who I have said on several occasions, and I will continue to say it, is actually an incredibly good figure. Now, moving over from all of this, here is where all the Megatrons have gone. This used to be the Dinobot shelf. This is now the Megatron shelf. So, now we've got, most of these are Megatrons that you've probably already seen, but we've got Beast Wars, the 30th anniversary, or whatever this one was. The one that's done in an actual show-accurate deco, but it's the original toy. minus the mutant head flaps. So there's that figure, and he's still fantastic and looks amazing. APC Toys, they're over, I think this is very slightly bigger than the original Prime Megatron, and he's also the battle damaged version, so he's got kind of like a weathering effect on him, which is hard to see in this light, but it is there. It's got a bit of an intentionally scuffed look, and he's really cool. Really like the way that he turned out. Never messed with this mold before this one, and yeah, it's cool. Generation Toys Tyrants. The original release, not the one with the ankles that like to shatter if you breathe on them funny. This is the one that was not inexplicably made almost entire, like with all the black plastic as clear plastic. It's just, but no, this is the original release, and he is great. Does the stealth bomber thing, very cool. The whatever it is, the Takara version that they did, the Megatron Godzilla. What is it? Synergenics, I think, is what it was, where they just took the SS86 Grimlock mold and painted it to look like Godzilla, and then called it Megatron and gave him a new head. As of recording, I am still waiting on the DNA upgrades. I had them pre-ordered for a very long time. They were supposed to come out like over a month ago. They still haven't come out. I don't know when they're coming out, but I have them pre-ordered and will eventually make a video on them when I get them. But there is Megatron. Next to him is also Megatron. Studio Series 86 Megatron specifically, and aside from the fusion cannon being a little bit misshapen and small, like I just think the back needs to go in a little bit more, still a fantastic figure. I need to make a video on him, but I'm hesitant to because I really don't want to deal with people whining and moaning and pooping their pants in the comments about how he should have been a gun. I just don't want to deal with that. I don't care. He's a tank. Deal with it. And the figure is excellent, but hey, if you want to rob yourself of a good time, be my guest. That's your prerogative. Anyway, here we've got Monocrat's Megatank, which is also just a wonderful third-party figure. This is the kind of Bumblebee movie Megatron that we never got, and he turns into a tank, and he's huge, and he's surprisingly posable, and fun and interesting to transform, and I love him. And Make Toys Rider Despotron, who I do also still have after all these years, and is also still just a fantastic figure that does actually turn into a gun, so, you know, purists can just pop a squat for a little while and calm down. And then we've got RID Megatronus. This is the Toys R Us version that comes with the Battle Mask head, and he's got repro labels, and this is just absolutely a wonderful figure. I feel like anyone who knows RID Megatronus knows that this is a great figure, but just in case you aren't aware, RID 2015 Megatronus. It is an incredible figure. He turns into a tank, and the transformation is so clever and fun. And he just looks cool. Now, moving on from there, we've got the Optimus Primes moving down into the Jazzes. So, there is HasLab Omega Prime in all of his splendid glory, and I still love him. And I did the torso fix. For anyone who missed the video or missed the top 10 video, this was my top 10 figure, or my number one figure of 2025. And I did have to do the torso fix, but thankfully it didn't arrive broken for me, and I knew to do the torso fix, and it sucks that that was a thing. I get it, but for me this figure is amazing, and it looks incredible, and I love it. And then down there we've got the rest of my primes. There's Legacy Armada Prime with repro labels and the DNA upgrades, and the repro labels for the DNA upgrades. I spent a lot of money on this prime. Holiday Prime, which I still say is an absolutely amazing figure, and I prefer, honestly, the Holiday Deco over the Volvo Deco, because I just think it's fun. But he's also got repro labels. Then there is War for Cybertron, Studio Series Gamerverse, War for Cybertron Optimus Prime, with repro labels. This is not the reissue they did that actually gives him the black windows on the chest. This is repro labels, and still a wonderful figure. And I do not care about the fists you can see out the back. I really don't. And then Timelines, Hearts of Steel, Optimus Prime, who is also just a great figure, maybe a little small, but still great. And then we get down into the Jazzes, because I had to put Jazz by Prime, because, you know, second in command and all that. But these are all the Jazzes I currently have. There is Bingo Toys Super Soldier Jesse, I think is what they call him, and Ugh. I need to make a video on him, though. He's a really cool figure. And Make Toys Downbeat was also really cool. Takara Transformers United Jazz. So this is not the Reveal the Shield version. This is the Takara version. So you can kind of tell because the white is a bit brighter. It's not like a beige, like an off-white color. And I painted the visor blue, but yeah, it's just a good figure. And then this was another 4-pack figure. I forget which 4-pack this was, but this is basically Studio Series 86 Jazz. But this is the 4-pack version that does not use any translucent plastic. Thank goodness for that. So yeah, I don't have to worry about his backpack disintegrating. Or at least not disintegrating as fast as the one that uses translucent plastic. And then also another 4-pack. This is, or maybe a 5-pack. I don't know. This is the Studio Series Transformers 07 Jazz that came in a multi-pack with other Autobots. You can tell because his visor is gray instead of blue, as well as a few other things. But yeah, this is still just a shockingly fun figure, which is why I still have him. You wouldn't think it, but he's just so fun to mess with. And then finally, we've got the one remaining bookcase where we have all of my Ultra Magnuses. And that includes the Takara LG-14, I think? Ultra Magnus, the one that comes with Alpha Trion, who lives in his chest. I just reacquired this figure recently. This is not the one with the X2 upgrades that was like the big video on my channel for some reason. That's how everyone seems to find me. But I sold that figure off a long time ago. Don't have him anymore, but this is the original non-upgraded version and still super cool. Blocky's Ultra Magnus because, of course, Transformers Generation Selects Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus. And I'd never bothered with the Shattered Glass head. I went with the Diaclone thing. I painted the eyes gold and then put repro labels on him. And I really like this figure. He's fun. He's not a great alt mode, but he's still really fun to mess with. New Age. Oh, what was his name? Honestly, I forget the name, the specific name of this guy, because he had, like, the different versions have different names, but this is the Toy Colors version of the New Age Ultra Magnus figure, which does do the white Optimus Prime, and the trailer becomes armor, but, like, yeah, love that figure. Studio Series 86 Magnus with repro labels, and then behind all of that is one of the reissues of G1 Ultra Magnus. This, I think it might be the Encore, I don't know. But I used to own the original Ultra Magnus back in the day and missed him terribly, so I got another one. And yes, I am interested in Missing Link Ultra Magnus, but I'm actually getting the Missing Link Delta Magnus because I wanted to mix things up and I feel like it'd be cool to have the G1 quote-unquote original next to the Diaclone Colors update with the extra articulation. And then here we've got kind of a miscellaneous thing where we've got some Sentai stuff or Sentai adjacent with the Titan Megazord from Power Rangers Mystic Force. This is the Titan Megazord, not Maji King, because this is the US version, but it's the same figure, just the paint's slightly different. And this is still my favorite Megazord as far as, like, toys go. I love what this thing does. Behind that, we've got, I think this one's Formo, and I think this one's Synchro, but this one might be Synchro, and this one might be Formo. I don't know. It's this one. The Drago plus Servo combination from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Wonderful set. Really fun to mess with. Love it. And then the other one, which I think is Synchro, which is the combination of Xenon and Servo from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. And this one uses a black and silver servo. This one uses the more traditional red and white servo, because I think the red and white goes really well with Drago, and I think the black and silver goes really well with Xenon. So that's that. And then DX Galgai Gar, and this is a custom. You can probably tell if you're familiar with the figure, but yeah, I need to make a video on this guy at some point to talk about the custom work I did, but he's cool. I didn't touch any of the joints or anything like that, but I did some painting, which I think, I don't know, I think it's nice. I tried to make it more show accurate. And then down here we start getting into the last of it is just not just. The last of it is all Korean bots. So we've got metal card bots, Sky Gallop, who is a super cool centaur plain horse lady, and it's just a very neat figure. Black Hook, who is a pirate ship that turns into a pirate and is also just fun, and he uses the bowsprit, maybe? The pointy bit on the bow of the ship that unfolds into an anchor that he uses as a melee weapon, which is really cool. And then, of course, Night Griffin, one of my more recent videos. And Night Griffin is just peak. It's my favorite thing in the universe. Love this thing. It's so cool. I just love it. And below that, some more metal card bots, the rest of the metal card bots, but the really big ones, where we've got Blast Train in the back there, Heavy Iron in the front, and then Heavy Iron W kind of folded up and tucked in as best as I can because this guy is gigantic when everything is unfolded. You can't even see his head. This is a problem in the video that I talked about, the fact that you can't really see his face around this ridiculous dragon chest armor thing. But yeah, that's Heavy Iron W. So there they all are together. And then for the very last bit, this is kind of like the miscellaneous Korean robots that I have no specific... Well, it's not all miscellaneous. It's a lot of Tobots, but it's basically Tobots and Mech Card. Actually, it is Tobots and Mech Card. But we've got Big Troll, still probably my favorite Korean combiner. Love that thing so much. Wild Chief, who is... he has most certainly been dethroned as my favorite Korean transforming robot toy. He's still fantastic, but no, it's a clear... That has clearly gone on to Night Griffin. Night Griffin takes the cake there, but Wild Chief is still great. Tobot the Classic, who has been customized slightly. I painted the most of the gold plastic gold, so it actually looks gold rather than just yellow. And Classic is a lot of fun. Also, I gave him the material, like a wired cloth cape, instead of the weird cardboard thing he comes with. Turning Mech Card Griffinx, the HG Griffinx, the original release, or one of the earlier releases, not the re-release that they did that like changed some of the paint and colors. But aside from the gorilla arms, love him. And Mech Card Ball Pettenkrantz, who is also really neat, especially if you just angle the shoulders a little bit so they don't look super flat. And he also has gorilla arms, which I wish he didn't, but still a neat toy. And that is the entirety of the collection as of 2026. That's everything that I've got right now, barring anything that's like pre-ordered that isn't actually in... Like, I don't have anything else in the mail currently. Also, if anyone's curious, Ova Prime is up there. But I don't have anything else in the mail. This is everything I got. Just trying to step around my desk here. Look, it's my art wall with some Diana paintings and some other stuff. And yeah, we saw K-pop Demon Hunters over the over winter, and love that. But yeah, this is it. That's everything. That is the toy collection as of January, the end of January 2026. And it's going to change. You know, I'll probably not have a few things next year, have some new things next year. That's the nature of the beast. It is not a static thing. It's constantly changing. But thank you all for watching. Hopefully this was entertaining in some capacity. And I will see you in whatever the next video is.